Hey guys, what's up? So in this video, we'll be seeing how to create a simple image editor using Visual Basic. So let me show you what we are actually going to do today. This is actually a small and simple image editor in which actually you can insert images and also you can insert text elements. You can insert multiple text elements like this, and also you can insert multiple images. And once you have this, you can select from the layer list, and also you can change its dimensions. So if I choose this, I can make it 300 into 150. You can see it is ready, and if I select the image from this layer, and if I make it 640 into 480, you can see it is also resized. So you can place it here. You can bring up one particular text element. You can change its text as well as width. And ultimately you can just press save to save it as an image. This path is hard-coded currently into the program. That is the reason why it is generating the image here. You can see the image is generated. Now without further ado, let's get started with the coding. Let's start by creating a new project. I'll choose Windows Form Application, and I'm going with the language Visual Basic. So once your form is ready, let's start by resizing it a bit. First I will use the panel, which will be used as the canvas for holding other controls. For example, we'll be adding images and all, right? So the canvas will be this. The parent control will be the panel. So I'm going to, in the properties, I'll just change the name to canvas panel, and then I will pick a list view which will be used for listing all the layers. That is, in our image we will be having multiple layers like we do in Photoshop and other editing applications. Different things or different elements within the photo or the image will be different layers. So we need to list it. That is the reason why I'm using a list view. For the panel, I'll make the background color as white. The list, I'll actually name the list as layer list. And now you need to take one label, which we can place it here, and I'll just change the text alone. I don't have to do anything with the name particularly, so I'll just change the text to layers. Now we need few buttons. The first button will be the save button, which can be used for saving the image. The second button will be for adding an image, so that you can import an image into the canvas. And we need one more button which will be used for inserting a text element. Okay. Let's name this first button as save, and I'll call it save btn, and the second button as insert image, insert image btn as its name, and for the third button I'll call it insert text button, And the text I'll keep it as insert text. I'll just align the buttons and keep that all. So now we need to add few more other fields for managing the properties of the elements that we are going to insert, like its height and width, also for setting the text and all. We'll get to that. Before that, we'll get started with the coding first, and we'll be adding the elements as and when required. Okay, first let's do the save button. Now in order to save the entire canvas or any control in Visual Basic or any .NET related languages, you can simply use draw to bitmap method. So canvas panel, this method takes two arguments. One is the bitmap object and a rectangle object for defining the frame. New bitmap, which will take the height and width. We'll give the canvas panel dot width, canvas panel dot height, and this bitmap can be passed to it as an argument. And the second argument will be a rectangle, which will have four arguments: the starting coordinates, and then the width and the height of the bitmap. Now before saving or drawing a control to a bitmap, always refresh the changes so that we don't miss out any recent changes that is done to the control. That can be done by calling the refresh method. Now that you have refreshed and created a bitmap, and now you are going to draw it to the bitmap, then you can simply save it. I'm not going to use save file dialog. Instead, I'm directly writing into a folder in D drive. You can see this is the folder, D drive/Paul. I'll be saving it here as a bitmap file. So for saving it, bitmap.save, you need to pass the path as the argument, /Paul/image.bmp bitmap. Now we will actually use a for loop for each control as control in the panel dot controls. We will use control bring to front. This is done to rearrange all the controls that are present within the panel before saving. Otherwise, the rendering of the elements within the control happens in the reverse order. So we are just reversing the order, reversing the items which are present within the canvas for a temporary time before saving or drawing it to the bitmap, so it will be correctly drawn, and we'll be reverting back to the actual state by calling this for loop one more time once the saving is completed. So this is done, and then you call canvas panel dot refresh. You will get to know why we are actually doing it once we are trying to draw an image. So with this, our save method is completed. Now let's get started with other items. So we need to create few elements, like this will act as the current control. Control is actually the parent class for all the tools or all the things that we place it within the form. Like it could be a panel, it could be a picture box, it could be a text, it could be a button, whatever it is, everything is inherited from a class called control. So I'm creating a current control here, and I'm just keeping it as nothing. Then also I'll create one drag point called point, which also I'll be not initializing now. Okay, now we will actually create a method to import the image. For that, I'll go to the toolbox, use open file dialog. I added one open file dialog, and I will go to the on click method for insert image button. You can just double click on that so that it will open this. Now we can do open file dialog 1 dot show dialog. We'll capture the result into a variable. if result not equal to windows.form.dialog result.cancel. So if it is not a cancel, then we'll declare a picture box. Picture box.image is equal to image.fromFile from file, and then we can provide open file dialog 1 dot file name. So this will actually provide the actual file name which we browsed, and in turn helping you to pick the image. Now we'll just keep the picture box dot height to 200 and picture box dot width also to 200. We are forcing the size so that even if we are importing a very large image, it will be just shrinked to a smaller size so that it's easy to manage. Now we need to declare few methods for controlling the movement, or for bringing in the ability to move these things around the screen. Like we need to move one image item from here to one location within the canvas. We should have the ability to do that. For that we need to create three methods. You can give it any name. I'm just giving just copy this method 2 more times. And one will be mouse up and one will be mouse move. So this should be mouse down and this should be mouse up, and this is mouse move itself. Now you can add these methods as the event handlers for the picture box.